Hello. If you've read the title of the video, and as you can see by my t-shirt, kind of on brand here. I have Goruchi, I have Mamechi, Chipachi, and I have Pachichi. I'm so sorry if I've mispronounced their names in any way, but yeah. And I also have Flowerchi and Mamechi, but I have the Paradise version of him on here. I also have this. I got this in Japan because it's like a Tamagotchi connection, and you can put, it's kind of like little croc charms. You can put little characters here. A little blind box that I got Kupachi. I used to love Tamagotchi as a kid. Any kid from the 2000s will be aware of Tamagotchi, even if they didn't own one. I remember it in school. I grew up with the British version. Specifically, the one that I grew up with was version 4.5, as I learned as I was researching this video. Kind of sparked and piqued this interest of mine per se, was that I just recently got back from Japan in the Bandai store, and just all the merch and gacha. I really wish I got the other two because there was like 4 in this gacha. All the merch and the gacha just reinvigorated the love I had for it as a kid, and obviously as a kid you don't really know a lot. Did one for Christmas and I was like kind of obsessed with it, and that's where interest peaked and ended. Obviously there's like games too, and there's even an anime. I had one of the games on the DS. It's such a fascinating brand to kind of go into and talk about. Anyway, enough of that introduction. To go into how Tamagotchi as a brand began. So the birth of Tamagotchi happened between 1996 and 1998.
It isn't Tamagotchi. By all means, feed it. Play till your heart's content.
Look, Goldie! I took good care of her, and she changed again.
The original virtual reality pet. Your care determines the pets you get from Bandai.
First released by Bandai in 1996 and internationally in 1997. The fact that the brand is still constantly getting revived is kind of crazy. The game in Japan was an instant hit when released in 1996. There was a big craze and people were desperate to get a hold of it. People loved the unique concept, caring for a virtual pet. It was initially branded for kids that didn't have the space for pets at home, and when the company expanded overseas in 1997, it generated a global craze. Tamagotchi sold 10 million units in the first 8 months following its release. But the fad soon did shrink, with the company suffering from excessive inventory, saw it have a huge financial loss. In 2004, a new Tamagotchi version, which allowed users to communicate with one another, sold 5 million products in that first year. By 2018, they started doing more collabs and sold 11.52 million devices as of the end of July. Between 2019 and 2024, sales of related products had also seen a significant growth, and as of August 2025, Tamagotchi surpassed 100 million units in shipments worldwide. This achievement was celebrated with the release of a new version, Tamagotchi Paradise, which was named the best digital toy at the Tokyo Toy Show. A lot of the reasons for this are due to nostalgia, where many adult fans, including myself, are repurchasing Tamagotchi devices due to nostalgia. Because they want to experience it again from their childhood, or they might not have got a chance to in the past. This kidult market, a multi-billion-dollar segment that encompasses teens and adults, has given it a second wind and a huge surplus in sales. So not only are children of today experiencing it, older millennials and Gen Z and people that like to use fashion accessories also get to enjoy it. Akihiro Yokai, one of the inventors of the toy, said he dreamed up the concept of a digital pet after seeing an advertisement in which a boy was upset that he wasn't able to take his pet turtle away on holiday. Alongside colleague Aki Miyata, he developed the product into one of its recognisable egg-shaped forms. She said Tamagotchi became popular because humans find joy caring for something. She was one of the lead developers when the project was coming into fruition. She helped solidify many of the Tamagotchi's defining characteristics. In October 1996, she passed out prototypes of the toy to 200 high school girls in Tokyo. The toy went on sale on November 23, 1996. It was originally developed as a gender-neutral brand. The majority of the audience was women, over 60%. The toy would later be marketed primarily to girls, where Aki would later help develop Tamagotchi's brother franchise, Digimon. The first devices are known as P1 and P2, and they were simple black and white screens a handful of characters, and they constantly needed attention. They sold over 40 million units in just 2 years. The most recognisable characters that we hear from the beginning were Mamechi, Kuchipachi, Tamagotchi. They were the earliest, most recognisable characters, and they kind of still live on today, especially Mamechi. So the original Tamagotchis, they contain the most, if not all the features that are still in a modern Tamagotchi today, or like a modern revival or iteration. This includes like the 3 main cores of a Tamagotchi, which is growth, care and lifespan. So once the device starts, the egg will appear on screen. 5 minutes after it starts, the Tamagotchi will be born, and it'll go through several stages of life. It'll begin with the baby stage and it'll evolve to the child stage after 65 minutes. It will evolve into a teen at the age of 3 and into an adult by the age of 6. What teenager and adult stage it will evolve to are based solely on the quality of care the user has given the Tamagotchi throughout its life. Each version of the classic Tamagotchi has 1 baby character, a child, 2 teenagers, and 6 adults, and 1 special character that can evolve from one of the 6 adults. Which teen and adult characters the users can raise is dependent on the quality of care provided throughout the Tamagotchi's life. The more you take care of it, the more you attend to the care, the more likely you are to get a more positive evolved character. So filling the Tamagotchi's happy meter is a combination of games and snacks, and also the response time. The quicker you respond, cleaning the poop and curing the sickness and turning off the lights, that's good quality of care. Also discipline, and this can range differently between the original and reproduced devices, but the core functionality is the same. Responding to every discipline call is a good quality care, while missing calls are seen as bad care. A Tamagotchi will eventually die of old age, and I feel like everyone out there that's had one as a kid was like low-key really upset and traumatized by it, or they would just leave it and neglect it, and just, I know a lot of people that did that. The maximum lifespan can vary from character to character, so compared to what character you get. So the older they get, the faster they lose their heart span. So on the original release, the heart loss caps at 1 hungry heart every 6 minutes and 1 happy heart every 7 minutes. As a brand, they've re-released the original one that I'm talking about, and one of the differences with their newer re-release is that the heart loss cap is about 1 of every 16 minutes instead. So severely neglecting a Tamagotchi, overfeeding, not responding to hunger or happy calls, not disciplining when called, and not curing sickness may cause it to prematurely die, and they will always eventually die due to old age or neglect. The way that they die can vary region to region. So the Japanese model shows a ghost floating beside a gravestone. English P1 shows an angel flying amongst the stars, and the English P2 shows a UFO in space. If the user maintained good care during the adult stage, it will show an additional animation of a Tamagotchi laying an egg before it passes. These eggs don't hatch into anything and disappear after the death sequence ends. Child and teen characters will never lay an egg before death, only adult ones will. If a baby dies, it will skip the death sequence entirely, and the screen fading away similar to the evolution screen before showing the death screen. So the original Tamagotchi also had no low battery screen, and the Tamagotchi would continue to run even if the batteries were critically low. If it went low, the Tamagotchi would make it vanish slowly. All Tamagotchi re-releases after this have started from the Mothra Tamagotchi in Japan and the Tamagotchi Angel internationally, and it would feature a low battery screen. The 20th anniversary re-release features a low battery screen indicated by the sprite of the battery with a large X over it. Speaking of the re-release, because I've been talking about the original, I never got a chance to experience the original. After doing research, I had the Tamagotchi 4.5, so that's the one I grew up with. It came out in 2007, so I'm presuming that's when I got it. I've tried so hard to try and find it, but I can't find it anywhere. My mum keeps all of my childhood things, so I might come across it one day. I really hope so, because I looked up the price online and it goes for like over £200 and it's like, ew. But this is a G1 re-release, so I got it a couple of years ago. I really want to unbox it at first, but I still haven't opened it. So the last time I probably played with the Tamagotchi was probably like 9 or 10 years old. While I'm talking about it, I could split up the video. I will start it off camera. After the first edition, the one I talked about, in 1998 to the early 2000s, that would be like their experimental, like, spin-off era. They did a lot of spin-offs, like they did Digimon. Yashi Tamagotchi. As like the big surplus of popularity and the craze began to cool down a bit, Bandai did try and take new spins on it. There was the Tamagotchi Angel, the Tamagotchi Ocean, and the Tamagotchi Garden, so they were all variations with new themes. By the early 2000s, like, Tamagotchi was fading out again in popularity because of Pokemon, Game Boys, and the newer trends stole the spotlight. So it kind of faded out of mainstream and it was more about digital craze. During 2004 to 9 is the Tamagotchi Connection era, which is the era that I am aware of and I kind of grew up seeing as the brand. So the Tamagotchi connections are identifiable by having the little antennas. Some of them would have different shapes on. Mine had a star. Me and my sister, we used to use this connection and we used to make our Tamagotchis visit, and for the first time, infrared communication. And that was kind of the era of game connection. So when I think about this and think about the time 2004, I think of the DS as one of the main things of that was connection with games. Like, I remember in school, everybody brought their DS Lite and I had a light pink one of the connection games like this. So this is probably why I love Tamagotchi so much. I was obsessed with Pixel Chick. I got my first one for my 7th birthday. I spent a large part of my childhood collecting toys and stuff, and one of the only things I have to show for this day is this glittery little house because all my other ones aren't here anymore. Oh, I also have the hamster one too. So you could connect it here. And this was like a later one. This was like a hamster one. I think this one was my sister's. But we had every single Pixel Chick, I'm not even joking. When I think about that with my personal ones, I think of Pixel Chick. That was my main one, and it was, again, that was a very more girly thing to own. Also, another one would be Cube World. I don't know if anyone's heard of Cube World. I remember it selling and being cute. I had a blue one and a green one, and you would connect them together, and there was just these like little cube men, and they would just do random animations. And if you connected them, they could visit each other's houses. And that was the same as Pixel Chick. To bring this back to Tamagotchi, that is what Tamagotchi would do also, because this was the era of connection and digital characters visiting each other. And it's such a cool concept. And when I think about that era, it's not just nostalgic, it's just a very nice, cute thing. With this infrared connection you could do with the antennas, you could connect your Tamagotchis to your friends, visit each other, give each other gifts, and you could even get married and they could have Tama babies. And this would make people want to collect them again because they would do so many versions, so many cool covers. when I was looking back at all the Tamagotchi connections, because I had version 4.5, there were so many versions, and all of the skins and stuff were really, really cool. Like the original ones were also, but maybe it's because it's like more my era and it's more nostalgic to me. There were so many versions. It went from V1 to V6. Tamagotchi Connection was known as Tamagotchi Connection in Europe, and it was the second major international Tamagotchi franchise. It first launched in 2004, but the final model was released in 2015, and it's the Japanese equivalent to the Tamagotchi Plus franchise, and there's several models identified between regions. The Tamagotchi Connection version 1 was the first major pet, and version 1 reintroduced the Tamagotchi brand, as well as adding a lot of core features that would carry over to the future models, such as connectivity, the items, and the marriage. In Japan, this version was released as the Kate Kitty Tamagotchi Plus, or simply just Tamagotchi Plus instead of Tamagotchi Connect.
It's here! The one and only Tamagotchi Connection! The original virtual pet. You give it lots of love and care, exercise it, feed it, and it grows up happy and healthy. And now you can connect Tamagotchis together to play games, find romance, give gifts, and collect up to 50 friends.
So version 2 was released in 2005, and version 2 introduced Gotchi points, passcodes, and a larger roster of more new characters.
Tamagotchi Connection V2 is new! With looks and styles, new characters, gifts, games, and smiles, new secret codes, new shopping spree. Connect them up, just gotta be V2!
And version 3 was released in 2006, and this included connectivity to Tama Town on the PC.
Gotcha, Tamagotchi V3!
Only V3 gives you passwords for the online world of Tamagotchi Town.
Password here, no travel there. Gotcha, Tamagotchi V3, any Tamagotchi town. Enterprise here, take it over there. Now buy a gift and share it anywhere.
The V3 has new characters and games, plus passwords for Tamagotchi Town. Ask your parents first. Tamagotchi Connection V.
Tama Town was the interactive website, because what would this era be without its Bin Weevil, Moshi Monster, Club Penguin, Barbie era of kids website, because this was for Tamagotchi version 3 and 4 and 4.5. The way this worked, it was an extension to the virtual pets to allow players to connect to the site and earn points on the Tamagotchi database. And Tama Town would let players explore an interactive online version of Tamagotchi Town, and it helped introduce people to a lot of the way the world was that was introduced outside of the DS games. And players could visit multiple locations, play games, and connect items. And if a player obtained any items during their visit, a list of passwords would appear when the player would log out. You could only get 10 items during each Tama Town visit. And different versions would be different. So the version 3 and then the version 4 and 4.5 were different. So all versions had the school, arcade, mall, town hall, food cart, parents, grandparents. But in version 4 and 4.5 they had preschool, office, bank, hospital, post office, station, Mama City, which also had a hardware shop and intellectual work building, Guru Town, convenience store, artistic work building, patchy forest, gym and social work building. And this sadly shut down in February 6, 2013, and that's when the servers closed. And Tama Town is no longer supported for any enhanced gameplay features for Tamagotchi Connection devices, and all the codes that came with certain pets, such as the Music Star, are no longer usable with the Tama Town website. Any online server where people have nostalgia, communities have tried their effort to rebuild it in attempting to build Tama Town with archived copies of the site and in .swf files. And Bandai failed to renew the new domain. Fans actually bought the domain and relaunched it as a fan site in March 26, 2019. And the new site hosts Tamagotchi news, leaks, guides, frequently asked questions, downloads, and links to other Tamagotchi groups. from other websites. Anyway, back to versions. So Tamagotchi Connection version 4 released in October 2006 in Europe and January 2007 in the USA, and version 4 was introduced skill points, character groups and jobs. And the second version, known as Tamagotchi Connection 4.5, was released in July 2007. It introduced new characters and games as well as 3 new jobs.
Living the Tamagotchi life. V4.
With new V4, how you raise your Tamagotchi and which type of skill games you play determines which type of job your Tamagotchi will get.
Living the life the V4 way. New characters, new games to play.
You can visit TamagotchiTown.com to share new things with friends. Ask your parents first.
Living the Tamagotchi life. V4.
New Tamagotchi V4.
Living that Tamagotchi life you could be with new 4.5. New careers, new characters, new cooler everything. New 4.5. You in? New Tamagotchi 4.5. V5.
Tamagotchi family
For the first time ever, raise your own Tama family. More family, more fun.
How you raise a family decides a Tama destiny.
The more you play, the more your family bonds.
Who's your Tama family?
You can even marry other Tamas. More family, more fun. Tamagotchi Family V5.
And then version 5 was released in 2008 in the USA and 2009 worldwide. And the music star focused on training the Tamagotchi in music, leading it to eventually have its own professional band. The model is referred to as Tamagotchi version 6 in Asia, Oceania and Australian regions.
Do you think you got what it takes to raise a music star? With the Tamagotchi Music Star, you raise your Tamagotchi, teach it an instrument, and play games until it reaches pop stardom. Then go to Tamagotchi.com, where you can create your own tunes and customize your own room. Ask your parents first. It's a pop star produced by you.
So they would add new features like jobs, music and school. So they revived the brand and kept Tamagotchi alive throughout the mid-2000s. And then we have Tamatown, Tamago. This is kind of more of a spin-off. It was released after in 2010, the USA and Australia. And it combines the elements of Music Star and Tamagotchi Plus Color and Tamagotchi ID. And it's being referred to as the Tamagotchi Connection version 7 or V7. Internally, not on the packaging, it uses Tamacom infrared communication, the same as its predecessors.
Tamatown is making more room for fun with the new, bigger, better Tamatown and Gotchi figures. New figures to collect and connect. Pop, pop, Pop-a-Gotchi. Every Gotchi figure opens a game. Collect more Gotchis, get more games, and unlock more fun at Tamatown.com. Ask your parents first. New Tamatown with Gotchi figure. Others sold separately. Batteries not included.
Tamagotchi Friends was released in 2014 and it connects to the other models with NFC technology instead of infrared. It features a lot more detailed sprites than previous versions did. And then we also have Tamagotchi Connection. And Tamagotchi Connection is what I touched on before. It is the 20th anniversary release of the Connection Plus series. It's heavily based on Tamagotchi version 3, incorporating features, characters, games from the Kakati Katsu Tamagotchi Plus. The 6th version, and in 2008 they did Color Revolution. So Color Revolution lasted from 2008, so this included the Tamagotchi Plus Color, ID, L, U4 and Tamagotchi Ps. So in 2008 Tamagotchi went full color for the very first time with Tamagotchi Plus Color. Very bright colours you could see them for the first time. Would have been such a huge jump. But they also included new features, so you could now decorate the rooms, raise pets across generations, and downloadable content to make the versions feel more alive. Japan got lots of colour devices, so a lot of fans really loved the depth of these versions. This helped cement Tamagotchi of more than just a 90s fad. And it went full colour for the first time with Tamagotchi plus colour. Characters like Mamechi, Lalichi popped in bright colours for the first time. It had new features like decorating rooms, raising pets across generations, and downloadable content to make the game feel more alive. A list of all of these releases are the Tamagotchi Plus Colour. The Plus Colour released in Japan in 2009 with new themed characters and games. And then the Tamagotchi ID released in Japan in November 2009, and the ID was based on the Tamagotchi anime, and it introduced accessories that could be purchased and worn by the characters. It also had the ability to download new items, accessory games, wallpaper, and it came two standard versions. So the standard version and the Lovely Melody version, which changed several of the characters. With the Tamagotchi anime, it did begin in October 2009 and it ended in September 2012. And it was followed by Tamagotchi Yuma Kiri Dream. So the anime follows the events of the movie Tamagotchi Happiest Story, which is a sequel to the original Tamagotchi movie, and it's more of a slice of life adventure focusing on the adventures of Mamichi, Mamechi, Kuchipachi and Lovelichi and all the friends in Tamagotchi Town. And many characters and locations were introduced in later seasons, including Melodichi and Hamistry, with the story becoming more focused on fantasy elements in the later arc. So that's just a little summary of the series that was based off. So the Tamagotchi IDL released in Japan in March 2011 and built upon the features previously introduced with the ID and Plus Colour. There was different versions of it, and they had a 15th anniversary version which featured a roster of the vintage characters, as well as new ones based in the vintage Tamagotchi era. And then Tamagotchi Ps was released in Japan in November 2012, and the Ps featured a port above the screen where the users could insert a Tama deck PS. And it was a special accessory that downloads new characters, items, locations and games onto the device. The device also introduces a four-way connectivity, introduces personality traits, diary recordings and part-time jobs. And the Tamagotchi For You, released in Japan in September in 2014, and For You replaced the traditional infrared with NFC technology, which can also download new content from Touch Sports. The For You also records the user's personality and emotions, features a unique personality stage, and a faceplate that can be changed out for many different designs. And then For You Plus was released in July 2015 in Japan, and it introduced several new characters and personality stage evolutions, new games, features, quality of life improvements. And then we have Tamagotchi Mix, which was released in Japan in July 2016. And the Mix introduced a new genre mixing feature where the second generation babies would inherit the traits from their parents. And there was a total of 6 versions released for this. Each version featured a new unique character and location. And then Tamagotchi On was released in November 2018 in Japan and in 2019 in the US. And South Korea also in 2019. And Tamagotchi On carries the same genre concept of Mix, but also includes twins, pets, Bluetooth connectivity and mobile application, because of course we are in 2018 at that point. And then Tamagotchi Pix released globally throughout summer of 2021, and Pix is the first colour screen model not to be released in Japan, and it had a built-in camera, touchpad buttons instead of the plastic buttons. And then the Tamagotchi Smart released in November 2021 in Japan, and the Smart replaces the standard button operation with touch screens, and it could be worn like a wristwatch. And then we have Tamagotchi Uni, released globally in July 2023. Uni carries the features from Smart and Pix with new personality mechanics and introduces Wi-Fi connectivity. And then finally, released in July 12th, 2025, Tamagotchi Paradise, and it features a dial that can be rotated and switch between 4 different views of the new Tamagotchi planet, going from space to a cellular level. And I have been so intrigued by this. that's kind of a summary of all of the versions. Going into that, I had no idea. The fact that the brand just kept going and they've kept re-releasing and making new versions is crazy. Are so well established. We can now talk about the collaborations and crossovers. They've had Evangelion Tamagotchi, Demon Slayer Tamagotchi, BTS Tamagotchi, and Hello Kitty Sanrio Tamagotchi, just to name a few. And these are some of the biggest names in pop culture. There's also been Pac-Man, Star Wars R2-D2. Each one adds a unique themed characters. They've had a lot of collabs and tie-ins. It's crazy. They've had a lot of anime ones, so the anime crossovers include Exolanchi, Fate, Grand Order, Spy Family. They also did a One Piece one. It's called Chopperchi. If you look at all the little egg versions, it's adorable. My friend Courtney would love this. They have a Gudetama Tamagotchi. They have multiple Sanrio characters. They've also had Pokemon Tamagotchi, Evangelion Tamagotchi, Demon Slayer Tamagotchi, BTS Tamagotchi. They've had designer brands like Supreme. Collabs are kind of endless, really, with Tamagotchi. Now I want to go into the characters and the fandom. I'm gonna just talk about some of the main characters in the show because there is hundreds of characters, so I could be here all day yapping if I attempted to go into that.
What the dog doing?
But I want to start off with a version of him here. He's a member of the Mame family and his birthday is November 23rd, so his birthday is 3 days before mine. Birthday is on the same release as the first Tamagotchi. On almost every Tamagotchi model, he is the healthiest adult character obtained through perfect care, and in this version that I have, I really do hope to get him. He's seen as smart and polite. He's often portrayed as an inventor, working on gadget, tweaking at things, and seen as a good caretaker, a very kind, affable little guy. And he's portrayed as this in the anime and games also. He's a lot of the times poster child of Tamagotchi, and he's smart, polite, and very responsible. So he's seen as a role model, someone to look up to. In the anime and games, he's seen as the inventor. So now we have Kuchipachi. Now, Kuchipachi is another original release. I have a little thing of him here, holding a little balloon. And he's a male adult stage, and he was debuted on the first generation of the original Tamagotchi worldwide. And he since became one of the main mascots of the Tamagotchi franchise, along with Mamechi and Mimichi. In the anime, his counterpart and girlfriend is Yukipachi. He's shown as a green round character with a big appetite. He loves food, naps, and just chilling, so he's such a vibe. He's often seen as like the fun guy, the comic relief. He's very goofy and lovable and carefree, and he has a very gentle nature. And he is mild and lazy, but very romantic and a daydreamer. So he also loves relaxing. He also loves relaxing in hot springs and will often fall asleep in one. He tends to also say dachi at the end of most of his sentences and uses the word in explanation as well. And in the English dub of the anime, he instead says tachi at the end of his sentence and yachi when he's excited or agreeing with someone. In the Tamagotchi Friends web series, he goes by saying dachi. He's just a chill, lovable, fun guy. He's got a green body, he's got large lips and eyes and little arms, and like pink green cheeks were added in the Connection era. Okay, so now we have Mamechi. He's just she's a girly girl. She's like for the girls. Mamechi is fashion conscious. Her hair is just a big curl. She's very eager and happy with her big curl. And she's a female adult stage Tamagotchi that debuted in the Tamagotchi Connection Plus. Since then, she's become a secondary mascot of Sooo. Her care status tends to be pretty inconsistent, depending on the release. Taking good care of her on one version, you could get her, and then on another version of where she's severely neglected, you could also get her. But her care is seen as like average in most releases. She's very energetic, a little dramatic, and sometimes can get very jealous. She represents like a girly fashionista side of Tamagotchi. Her name is likely from homophonic pun, me, I, so symbol here, effeminate, referring to Mamechi's personality and her big sparkly eyes. Mamechi is very stylish, feminine, and a childlike Tamagotchi that likes to have fun. She enjoys daydreaming, dancing, dressing up, and anything swirly. Another main character is Lovelichi, aka Loveland. She is sometimes referred to as Lovelichi or her stage name Loveland, and her female adult stage Tamagotchi who debuted on the Tamagotchi ID in Japan on the Tama town internationally. She eventually became one of the main characters, and she has fluffy fur, pink cheeks, two upright woolly ears. Her eyes are teal with sparkle shaped highlights. In both of her designs, she wears a dress, stockings, heart-shaped purse, and decorations around her ears because her outfit changed. She symbolizes a move away to a more modern version of the brand. And then Gozoruchi is the male adult stage Tamagotchi, and he debuted on the Tamagotchi Connection Plus, and I do remember him, and he since became a major character in the franchise. He's generally obtainable through severe neglect, so it's quite funny that I remember having him, and yep, he's a neglect one. And he's a ninja-like Tamagotchi. He usually pops up as a side character, and he's mischievous, mysterious. All the other characters also seem as quite cool. He wears a navy blue suit with 2 white stripes on the front and a white shirt. He's usually seen carrying a shuriken, also known as a ninja star. He has a small point on top of his head. You can barely see his mouth move, and he's very kind to others, but he's often quite hard on himself. His speciality is throwing ninja stars, and he hopes to someday become a ninja. He possesses many ninja abilities. Besides wanting to become a ninja, he is a bit lowbrow. According to his sister, Konaichi, he actually has low blood pressure and is not a morning person, which I relate to. He lives in Gozoru village. He also adds de Gozoru at the end of his sentences and uses an archaic first-person pronoun, Shasha, and that's strongly associated with ninja and samurai. Also, another character that I want to talk about here, she's so cute, is Flowerchi. Flowerchi is known as Fuwachi and is an adult Tamagotchi debuted on Tamagotchi Connection 2024, re-released internationally. She is the daughter of Mama Flowerchi and Papa Kizachi, as well as the sister to Kizachi and the identical twin to Violetchi, and the only difference is Violetchi is a bit more of a purpley violet colour than her. She has a pink coloured body, a wide head with big round eyes and dark pink cheeks. She has 1 yellow and 1 green flower on her head, and she's soft-hearted and very easygoing, and she loves gardening and flowers and is very knowledgeable on it. Flowerchi loves the colour pink, same girl, drawing, going on bike rides, and she's just a very sweet girl, really. I have a character I want to talk about. I tried to get the character for him on here, but I couldn't get him and I was so sad. He was sold out. Is Pochichi, and he's an adult stage Tamagotchi who debuted on the 2nd generation of the original Tamagotchi worldwide. He resembles a round yellow dog with stubby arms and legs. Pochi is a common generic name for pet dogs in Japan. And that's all kind of the main characters that I'm gonna touch upon. So now that I've talked about all the characters and all the versions of Tamagotchi, I want to touch on the DS game. I used to have Wanna Shop 3, which debuted in 2007. Bandai Namco released several Nintendo DS games in the 2000s, and most of them focused on minigames, character interactions, and cute slice of life activities. Tamagotchi Connection Corner Shop was their first game in 2005, and you would run shops like a bakery, beauty shop, or a clinic with Mamechi, Kuchipachi, and Memechi. And the gameplay just was like small little mini games. And then Tamagotchi Connection Corner Shop 2, which debuted the next year in 2006 on the DS, expanded with more shops and characters instead of just the 3 characters. Same formula, but more polished. And it was very, very popular among kids. We have Tamagotchi Connection Corner Shop 3. So this was bigger and brighter than the first 2. It added even more games and customizations to the shops, considered to be the best of the trilogy across fans, and that is the one that I played growing up. And then after that we have Tamagotchi Party On. Came out in 2007 also, but came out on the Wii. And it was a spin-off party game because back then party games were really big. I think Wii Party, which me and my siblings loved, Mario Party, which I also love, and then we have Tamagotchi Music Star Bandai tie-in. The DS didn't get every single Tamagotchi version, but the Music Star toy line influenced some DS gameplay like rhythm-based minigames. And then Tamagotchi no Puchi Omishi is a Japanese-only DS game exclusive, including shop sims, party games, and anime tie-in. The DS games are seen as very important because they kind of introduce all the characters to a new generation of children. It helped give more interaction and personality to the characters beyond just having them in a little 2D device. They cemented Mamechi, Kuchipachi, and Memechi as mascot. When you have a little version of him, but I do have these two. I want to also talk about, there is a new game that's just came out on the Switch. This is the first new game for a very long time. It's called Tamagotchi Plaza. It's like a spin-off of Tamagotchi Connection Corner Shop series, so 1, 2, and 3. I'm so tempted to get this. It is just a compilation of mini games, but if you are a fan of the series and you kind of want to relive that in some aspects, there is a game that just came out on the 26th of June worldwide. Tamagotchi Plaza is a shop simulation video game based on the Tamagotchi toy line. It came out on the Nintendo Switch and the Nintendo Switch 2. And it's the first game released outside of Japan in 18 years. So between the toys, the DS games, the multiple games, and the characters, Tamagotchi wasn't just about keeping the pets alive, but it built an entire in-game universe. They gave you a whole cast of characters to fall in love with and to continue supporting the brand itself. I want to tie this into the legacy of the brand and the franchise. So Tamagotchi survived nearly 30 years through the boom, like constant decades of evolution change. Went from a basic little construct, black and white little figure, and then a nostalgic reinvention to now a coloured version. It proved it was more than just a feeding fad. It's gained a lot of longevity because it's adapted throughout the times, like being able to create a world and characters that people can invest themselves into, and merchandise and all of that stuff. So, not to be corny, but next time you hear that sound and you get like taken back to when you were a child raising it, the fear which was as a child when you raised one, and if you didn't attend to it quickly enough in school or whatever, then it would die. And I feel like that's something many children and adults can say they've experienced. Doing a bit of research to make this video, it's kind of made me realise how cool the franchise actually is. No! No, he was only a week old. No. No. Sorry. And this is probably a little bit of an outro of sorts, but I said at the beginning I was going to try and look after my Tamagotchi connection and see how long they lasted. They lasted like probably just under a week. Thought I'd film this as like an update, but yeah, he died the other day. Again, I've only had the connection one before, I've never had the original, but I did get this the other day.
Wow.
Got the Tamagotchi Paradise. I think going into the video, looking up, well, instead of like reminiscing and wanting to get the connection, which I may do eventually, I'm not sure, but I was like, well, I really want to try this. I love what the brand's been doing. I'm going to open this. I chose, is this the pink land? I mean, if you can't tell, my favourite colour is pink. Oh, wait. I don't think, oh. Okay, it's just more pink. You can like keep this. I don't know, should I keep it? It's a little bigger than this. Much bigger. I have no idea how to turn this on. Okay, I've got them. Got batteries on. Oh! Ooh! Also, the Tamagotchi I got last time, I can't remember their name off by heart, but I will show it on screen. I really did try to keep on top of it, and I missed one or two of the callings, but I did keep health and everything pretty. He just got sick, and I guess I just missed it. But anyway. Let's set this up. It's my birthday. 26th of November. Cute! I love the little dial, it's so cute, like when you zoom out. Give him milk. I just wanted to show you when you purchase since filming the video last. If you stayed around, thank you so much for watching. This is the first video I've ever made like this. I wanted to start with quite a fun topic, and let me know your favourite Tamagotchi if you have one and any stories you have with it. Bye.